Hello, everyone. Welcome to another beautiful episode here on T Podcast. Ligama lami nginguMilliswa Vilani, ekhaya kusesiphoxosini, chief wami nguJapane. And yes, I will mention all of that because ngingumfulo yatiko imvelaphi yakhe. And today I am joined by the beautiful Luleka Mdluli. She's a content creator. I think she's a visionary, but she'll let her work speak for herself, and I think she'll just share with us ukuthi ungubani, uqhamukaphi, and what does she do?
Hey, sanibonani. My name is Luleka M. Mwakamdluli. Mdluli Bekiswago. Sudwa kembe mlisani nabonkosi nabongwani. Bekiswago, okay. Thank you.
How are you doing, Luleka?
I'm nervous. I'm good. I'm fine. I'm alright.
You're right.
I'm well, thank you. How are you?
I'm actually doing very, very well. I am happy to be here with you. First of all, I think what I need to mention is the fact that I love what you're doing within the content creation space in the country. I know it's a space that's still coming up, still underdeveloped. There's so many improvements that can be made, but I think you're one of the few people that are just setting a trend. Yaguti contents maibe yinhle, maibe clean, and I really love what you do, woman to woman.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that a lot.
Okay, so Luleka, maybe we can just start off by you sharing what you feel about the content creation space within the Kingdom of Eswatini right now. I mean, with me, I think I do know a lot of content creators now. There's yourself. We have people like who call Me Mrs Dlamini. I know there's Mrs Skeel as well doing the most. We have Wekuntry, we have Sammy, all these other content creators. What do you think the content creation space is like in Eswatini right now?
I feel like right now I am genuinely like happy with the content creation space in Eswatini. I think that siyakhula as creatives in the country, and we really are stepping out and using our voices as a collective. We really are trying to use our voices as a collective and trying to see how we can fit into the space, how we can make people understand the space as well, and to the point where they also want to invest in this space. I see a lot of people jumping onto this space as well and trying to improve themselves in the content which they put out. And recently, one thing that I think I'm very happy with is the collaboration that we're seeing in the space. Like, I think it was last week. The pink table with Zinzi Twala.
Hey.
Now that's collaboration. That's collaboration.
That was actually so beautiful.
At its best. Yabo. Kuti siyabona ukuthi there's this person, this is what they want to do.
That's actually so true what you're saying about Zinzi, because I saw like over 70 people shared the post on their story on Instagram. People were in the comments, flooding the comments, mentioning brutal fruits. It was really, really crazy. And I think for me, what I also love about that collaboration was the fact that Zinzi is also working with a local agency called Cetera. So in a way, she's also uplifting other creatives, just like you're speaking, that now we're moving as a collective. It's beautiful. But I think I want us to just go back a bit in the conversation. What really is content creation? Because I feel like some people at home may be asking themselves that mawuthi uyi content creator wendani. What is content creation? How can you best describe content creation as Luleka to make someone losekhaya ukuthi understand ukuthi hi, now as a content creator, this is what they talking about?
Yeah. I knew that someday someone would ask me what content creation is. And I think to me, content creation is a form of self-expression. It's a type of art. An art that is not like your normal form of art. It's like, now I'm painting or like I'm creating music. No, I think content creation is a form of art where I am able to express myself, but at the same time sell something to someone. You know,
Okay.
I think with content creation, this is such a tough question.
Sorry,
This is
girl.
such a tough
I'm also
question.
trying to learn here. Okay, educate me.
This is such a tough question because content creators do different things. Like I'm saying, it's art, so we we create different forms of art. There are content creators that create content for corporates and like different brands. There are content creators that create content like Emma videos, where they're just sharing a part of themselves. There are content creators that create content that helps other people, like self-help or like self-development. So I think there are different niches in content creation. So kuya ngekuthi umuntu yena yini, what is it that you want to put out into the world? What is it about yourself that you want to share? Like I said, it's a form of self-expression. So if I feel like people don't know how to get the right diet, as a content creator, I'll pick dietary, or like being a dietitian, if I am a dietitian, as my niche, and teach people that it's about value and putting back something where you feel like, okay, this is lacking, and this is how I can then come in and develop that space. What do other people think content creation is? What do you think it is?
I actually love what you said about content creation being a form of self-expression and finding yourself within it, because I feel like most of the time people just see content creation as a final product, like you putting out a video or whatever, but at the end of the day you're telling your story through the contents that you're putting out there. So for me, I really connected with what you said when you said it's a form of self-expression, because if I speak for myself, if I'd say I'm a content creator, people would say, oh, but no, you don't put out any videos, you don't put out any music, for instance, or anything. But at the same time, I found myself in this space where I'm speaking on the music industry locally and internationally. And for me, that's the best way I can express myself, by just commentating on what's happening on the ground in terms of music. And for me, the content that I put out right now is currently written. So that's how best I'm able to express myself. I may not want to be like in your face like that, but because I found this pen and paper where I jot down my thoughts and everything, I'm also creating content in a way. So I really do like what you said about it, because it doesn't matter like the form of content that it is, whether it's written, it's visual, or whatever, but at the end of the day you're just telling your story and you're putting it out there.
And I think right now logo kuluma about like written content. For a long time, I thought content creation was just like the videos, the pictures, the posting on social media, until I realized the content creation, also people that write stories, they are creating content. They are content creators as well. It's just that right now we're shifting to visual storytelling, where we want to see Lenfolo Balago. In high school, my favorite poem was a poem is a painting. So now it's like we're taking words and we're painting them. Where now bale panse wati when you like this sort of genre, or you like this artist. Now I want to see or hear what the genre looks like. I want to see what the artist is doing. I don't want you to tell me, because visuals are like a thing now,
and you don't want to go through so much trouble trying to look for the song or the content. You just want it to be in your face. And I think that's something I'm struggling with also, because being a writer, I feel like nowadays people are moving away from written down content. Like you've said, people want to see visual storytelling. There's people like one of my favorite music content creators, his name is Sexy Unicorn. He's doing a lot of content on TikTok where he speaks about music. He speaks about some of the tools he works with when he's doing his content. He also educates people about events curation and everything. So even with him, at some point he used to be a writer, but now he's shifted towards the visual content, because people are just not reading enough, and I don't know why. Like, guys, we're actually good. We are good writers, okay? We won't bore you. You'll visualize it through the words, okay? So I just wanted to find out from you, that content creator to content creator, what would your advice be to me? Like, should I hop onto the visual trend? Should I keep on writing? What should I do? And what do you think has made it, how can I put it? How do you think has made people shift from the written down content to the visual storytelling?
I feel like my best advice to you, as like someone that like writes stuff, is to find a way to make me want to read.
Okay.
what you're writing. So yeah, tough. Yatu usengabhala about an artist, but the manner in which you do it and the way in which you show it to me, or let's say maybe off of Instagram, can be different because yabona gaten. Well, it's not really gaten, but you go on a website and gune title of your article, and then it's just your article with a few pictures. But now you can make it more visual by using more pictures and less writing, but the writing is still there, or the writing within the picture, so that while I read, I also see what's okay, this is what you're talking about. Or another thing is like if you're going to write about an artist and their new song, you can have the song playing in the background while I'm reading, where I'm now, okay, I'm consuming the content you've written, but I'm also consuming the artist's content as
Now
well.
it's easy for you to relate as
Right?
you're reading.
Now I know what you're talking about, and I can feel what you're feeling if I do relate to what it is that you're feeling.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's interesting that you touch on writing maybe your article or your blog and you use more pictures. But what if naturally as the creator when I just want to use words? Do you think content creation is more about the creator or the person is creating for? So looking at the trends, maybe people want to see more visuals, but I want to post more pictures or more writings. Should you change your style of expression to fit them in?
Changing your style of expression. Yeah. I wouldn't want someone to make me change the manner in which I express myself. I still want to express myself the way I feel like doing so. But if I'm expressing myself for an audience, if I'm writing something for an audience, obviously ngifuna ukuthi bafunde. So I also need to find ways in which I can get them to read what it is I am writing about. Things change, trends change. We won't jump onto every trend, but the truth is that things do change, so we have to adapt to that change and find ways to ensure guti nami the content that I'm putting out there, people still read, Make sense?
It does.
I think it does, but I think the question asked just has me popping another question in my head where I'm like, as people that create art, are we creating art because we want to, or there's like an end goal? Because I've struggled sometimes with the fact that you'll find that I'm a writer, I work for so-and-so, I'm writing articles for so-and-so, and then now I'm expected to deliver like maybe 10 articles a month. Or when someone puts out a song, now I'm supposed to write about it, even though I haven't really connected with it. So I've always like been in this conflict where I'm like, oh my gosh, what do I do when this happens? Because for me, like I said, writing is a form of expression. So you can't then dictate, write about Luleka's song. Luleka dropped on Friday. You have to write about it. So when we're creating art, are we really like doing it for ourselves? Or at the end of the day, we need to also stay true to knowing what really like dictates the direction that we're supposed to take with our art or content.
One of my very close friends always reminds me that if you're going to do something, you should always remember your why. Why are you creating content? Are you creating it to make money out of it? Or are you creating content to express yourself? Are you creating content to teach people something or to fill a gap into the market? So, nangabe wena you're creating content because you just want to express how you feel about an artist, or you want to say, I think even ngomana and I really love it. You really love it. So you can create content on it because you can share how you feel about it. Inginga ibasektenini now as content creators, we want to monetize our content.
True.
We want to create out of love and expression, but we still want to gain something from what it is that we're creating. Yabo. Kuthiwe, okay, I'm working with someone or I'm working for someone. Ati mina ngifuna 10 wema articles at the end of the week. But drophile bang 10, I want an article in all of them. And then ngithi mina as a creative, but I don't like that.
Right.
Or I have nothing to say about that. And it's like, as a creative, as who you are you authentic to yourself? Are you authentic to your true self? Because if you are, then you know, Guti, but I don't like that. Then why do you want me to write and say I like it? You need to keep your authenticity, and you need to be true to yourself. I won't sell you a product if I don't like it. I really will say, Yati gelenvolena mine angithanzi, which is not something that everyone does. It's scary to go up to an audience and say, Mini kokangithanzi, you know, because now it's like, but you're ruining their brand. Like, people think that whatever you say goes. So nangabuta, what do you mean? But angithanzi. You know?
Yeah. But then, like, this, I think this is also like just getting so tricky for me, because you also need to understand, Guti, art versus business. It's like you're saying, Guti, at the end of the day, we want to create art, we want to create content that stays true to ourselves, but at the end of the day, we want to monetize our work. How do we then find the balance between staying true to myself but also making money out of what I'm doing? How do we do that? Because it's also one thing that I've also struggled with, because you know what, I want to stay true to what I'm doing, stay true to what I'm doing, what I'm writing, my thoughts, express myself the best way I know I can, but at the same time I need to make money. I have bills, I have things to take care of, and I'm always like
Can I contribute something? I don't know if it's a follow-up comment. I think, you know, so many times I follow most of these podcasts between entrepreneurs, you know, and they will talk about how when you start a business, you sort of have to be your marketing, your finance, your procurement and everything. And you find when I got strength sakho ma sales, no ma strength sakho is procurement, no ma strength sakho it's production, whatever it is. But you kind of have to do everything to get this thing from the ground up running. So I think even when it comes to content creation, it'll be interesting to learn what you think, Luleka, on this. But I think there's gonna be points where you don't necessarily do everything because you love it or you're comfortable with it, but just to get yourself out there, get the skills, get the networks, you know, get your name out there and learn and grow. And then eventually you get to a point where you're comfortable. Now it's your word, you know. You say no more than you say yes. You get to detect the trajectory of your growth. So that's what I think. I don't know what you think, Luleka.
That's very profound.
Well?
Yeah.
Okay, 100%. I'm actually with Claudia on that one. Also, maybe think about it on this aspect. Maybe just try and make it easier for you to do the job that you do. So, Nyabegisa, how you were talking about your rights, ne? Segna chat GPT, so you can take whatever writings you have.
But are you like a true writer if you're using ChatGPT? Because
that's
like,
so
I know, but like that's always been the chat also on social media as well. People saying that writers that use ChatGPT are not actually writers, because how are you struggling to put the words together if you're like a true writer?
Oh no, true. Okay, no, that's up to you at that point. I don't say content yako.
Okay.
But it says kulmela for ema visuals. It does visuals as well. You know what I mean? How she was like, okay, sharp, I wanna hear you. Sometimes I wanna read and I don't wanna listen. Sometimes I actually wanna listen, I don't wanna read. So go would say how you actually do your job, you know what I mean?
So there's basically no way to beat the algorithm.
Yeah.
Practically.
We have to stay authentic, but there's no way to beat the algorithm.
I think you need to do your research. More than anything. It's social media, it's technology, it's always changing. There's always different trends now where you need to keep up, but at the same time, in keeping up, you also need to find ways to stay authentic to yourself. You understand? Yes, there are tools, conversation, AI in content creation. We need to learn how to use it instead of creating content just using it. You know, because it can enhance your content, but it should not be creating content for you.
It actually like depends on what you feed it actually. So if you feed it the right information, it'll obviously generate something of quality for you. So speaking of technology and all these things, what are some of the tools that you use for your content, if you don't mind sharing? Because from my standpoint, I always applaud Kutsi content ya Luleka is so good. Her editing is so good. Like, what did she even use? And then I tried to create something and it's just like, girl, what are you even doing?
How do I create content? Yo. It depends on how I feel.
Okay.
It depends on what I want to put out there. Sometimes the content I create stems from a gap that I saw. For example, the one time where I did that, honestly, and it worked for me, was when I created the content around traditional events in the country. For Umhlanga, when I created that content, it wasn't a thing of ngifuna trend and ngathi ngidawutrenda ngemhlanga. It was something that stemmed from when I was still in university and I couldn't attend Umhlanga. Ngihlale ngitibuta ukuthi ngabe bentane emhlangeni yabo. Ngihlale ngibona ema video, like a clip that trended during that year. But I always wanted to see ukuthi okay namhla bentani, keep up with what they're doing. I always felt that void, like I was missing out on something. And because I felt that, I wanted to make sure that that I create content that makes international students feel like they are part of what's going on back home. Because I was once an international student that felt very homesick during that time. And also seeing Guti, the type of content I want to see curated on my culture, I'm not seeing. So I identified the gap and I tried to find a way to fill in that gap. And it worked in my favor. And another time where I did that was when I created that video as Vunule Ganye Ganye. And it was after that episode, got my brother's keeper, where I was like, I get Vungos. As Vunule Ganye, and I realized that it's not that Banfu bayayitselele imvunulo yethu abadi, because kudelo bafundisabo. So I took it upon myself to create something that was going to stay on the internet long enough to say even 3 years from now, they can make reference to this video, bavunule kangono, or even these production companies, when they want to learn okay Swati bavunula kanjani, they can always refer back to my video and see okay, this is how they actually do it.
I'm not gonna lie, young sita a video yako this one time at work. Angwati vunula at all. So this one time at work, the finalists vunule to take pictures honoring the bukanu ceremony. Yes. Bathroom, opened my phone, went straight to Luleka watched the video, making sure that everything is proper. So you really did help us out with that video. I can certainly say you wang sita because nami I uvunula, but now because of that video I always have something to go back to reference and see okay, this is what my culture expects me to do. And I think that's one thing where we're lacking in terms of a cultural content within the country. I think also it's one thing that also made the episode yabanele with Letumusa go way high, because that episode was very, very informative. You learned so much about the Swazi culture, things that's not difunzanga eskolweni. So I really do like people who basically try to include culture in their content, and I think you're one of the very few people who are doing that in the country. Are you?
Am I?
I think she is.
Crazy as well.
Which is so crazy.
Crazy historian.
Crazy historian. Good time somebody post Danielo, but there was a time when he was posting and I was like, oh my goodness, I don't even know. There are things that he was talking about that I didn't know. And I was learning from him.
I have a question though, actually.
Okay.
Did you get any backlash from it?
From the content I created? No.
Not even.
I didn't. I think I was helping us out. Why would you
I don't
bashing
know how
the
people
I don't think there'd be
Setati?
any backlash, to be
I
honest.
saw a lot of people that were very infuriated by the episode Yaga my brother's keeper, and like I said, I saw the gap and I was like, okay, let me help you guys, let me do something, let us sit us on, okay, and make sure that people respect our culture as well. I'm very deeply like rooted in culture. I understand it, and I want to make sure that it is well represented. Yabo nangabe sivunula asibe bahle nkosi yami. Imvunulo yethu yinhle kakhulu for us to then have people basonela.
Speaking of culture and just being rooted in who you are, do you think who we are may get in the way of our expression in terms of our content? So now I do understand that we are living in an era where we're shining the light on African culture, we're celebrating ourselves, and this kind of puts us in a good spotlight in the world. But do you think in terms of how it conditions our personality and how we present ourselves, it's digestible for people to enjoy and indulge in our content, for it to be viral, and even someone from SA or Nigeria or America can tune in and just really enjoy it?
I actually think it is digestible.
Yeah.
Because, okay, I'll speak from a music perspective. What I've seen is that people outside, the reason why artists like Burna Boy, for example, are so big is because you'll hear them being rooted in their culture. Sometimes they use their language, lana na lana, and even though we don't understand what they're saying, we are also just enjoying the music, getting into the vibe. You're good to, you know what, today I'm learning a Nigerian word, I'm gonna say it out loud. I may not know what it means, but it means something. And also looking at the rise of artists like Big Zulu, artists like Sjava, who are also very rooted in their culture. I mean, when Sjava performs, he's always dressed in his traditional Zulu way, and people really, really enjoy that. The Zulu people engage with that. They enjoy good to, you know what, instead of me enjoying music from America, we have something here at home, something I can relate to. And the Americans as well, they enjoy seeing something that's African, something that's different. I think that also speaks to the growth of Amapiano and Afrobeats. Americans are tired of always listening to hip-hop. We're listening to hip-hop, we're listening to R&B. Now they're tapping into the space of, you know what, I want to listen to Amapiano. I'm going to say Adiwele, I'm going to say Zenzela, even without even knowing what does it mean. So I definitely do think we're in a position where our culture, even as Swati, people are interested in it. I think another example would be Yang Zhe. She recently went to perform in Taiwan, and people were engaging with the songs that he was,
I don't know that. Create content so we know about
post.
these things.
He did post.
Really? Congratulations.
Yeah. He went to perform in Taiwan, and Bekahlabela ngeSwati, and people were literally enjoying it. So even if it's through music, through language, or through imvunulo yefu, people do want to see what we are doing, and they are digesting it quite well, because for them it's a learning curve. Namuhla ngifunza ngeMaswati, ukuthi eMaswati ahlabela kanje, agqoka kanjena, enda in. I don't know what you think, Luleka.
I also think that it is digestible. It just needs more of us to dish it up to the people so they can eat and digest it.
Yes.
I think that if more of Emma Swati would come up creating content and incorporating culture, incorporating this Swati, figure to a point where people are like, Yati, I'm seeing so many Swazis on TikTok. I'm seeing so many Swazis on Instagram or on YouTube, yabo, where then now people are like, I want to tap into that, I want to learn about that. I think there's not enough of us, sikona, but there's not enough of us that's dishing out that content, yabo. It's as simple as yabo nana khuluma ngekuthi bo Java ba faka umqhele wabo nan. It's as simple as incorporating something that is Swazi to your content, or I don't know, angisho ukuthi hambe uyoperform uvunulile sonke isikhathi, but incorporate that culture into whatever it is.
There's many ways
doing.
of doing it. There's literally many ways. One other example is through using your cover art. If you're an artist, I'll speak for artists. Nasty see his cover art for Zulu Men with Some Power. He was also wearing umqhele.
Yes.
Wait, Sponelo, I'm coming to you. Let me land, okay? Let me land. And even with Original, when she did a Taonyana, the cover art had a Ziploc bag with Emma coins, Emma Swati. So people now know good say, oh, Eswatini gunani kunemalangeni. That's their currency.
Okay. Going back to a question, Claude, there's a part of it maybe that went over our heads, whereby does the culture actually limit us in terms of the way how Emaswati are as people?
This is a conversation we were actually having earlier, where I think, guys, now I must express how I feel. Express, girl. That is so scary. That is so scary. But I think that indlela lesikhuliswe ngayo as eMaswati, what we are used to lakhaya, can be limiting. Yeah. Sometimes umuntu lakhaya will create content that is a culture shock to us. Sithi hayibo wena welileyo asiyendi thina lento lena lana. And I think that's I don't know, you correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that is the part that then is limiting, where ngithi khanza sengasathi express it too loud because Swazis are not too loud.
Yeah, very conservative.
So I must keep myself in a box while also thinking outside of the box. Like, how do I do that? Yabo. Angeke sihlale sikhona kudigesta everything ngoba sesiyamangala wena sikubona edolobheni uyati express. If Swazis would go to Bram, bangafa.
They would,
because of the fashion there, where it's like nakulo muntu uyafika ufake emajini enhloko ufake sketi nengubo, like what's going on? But that's art, that's people expressing themselves, and I feel like lakhaya we're not always able to express ourselves because engqondweni sinekuthi batawuthini.
But some people do that, and as you are saying, we are shocked and we don't actually then support them because we find it to be weird. It's hyper when so that way. Like, okay, there's this do you guys know a platform?
Yes, I do. They host the shows in Manzini, right?
Yes. Like when you go there and you see how that it's a different culture on its own. Like it's more of the Bram type of feel. But most people don't even know about it like that. Yeah,
maybe they're not making that much noise about it.
No, they are, guys.
No, I feel like I know because I'm in the music space. Pela, like, marketing has to even reach someone that's not even within that same space. So, for instance, if they were doing it properly, Ngabe Luleka knows, Ngabe Claudia knows, not only just me. I mean, I know Vele because I know Bo Opus and all the guys that are regulars there. So that's why I know of it.
Is it the one that's held at Eclair?
Yes.
I know about it. I do know about it. I do.
So now my question is now, are we still blaming the same culture that we're trying to push? If you get what I mean.
I don't. Please elaborate.
Like how you're saying, look, we'd say, trying to incorporate the two cultures also. But at the same time, go by a culture clash also because we can't necessarily wear my jeans and show. You know what I mean?
I think what he's trying to ask is that we're saying that we want to promote culture in our content and we try to promote culture in our content. But at the same time, now we're blaming that very same culture. It's holding us back. I think that's what he's trying to ask.
100%.
Yeah.
So where do we find...
Where do we find balance?
Because ngeke uvunule bese sofaka ijini enhloko.
Okay.
So now it should be like you are more like disrespecting. You're not trying. It's not innovate. You won't see it as innovation.
Yeah. And also at the same time,
I love how you're such a purist.
and also at the same time, from the lens I look at it is, if we are trying to be so rooted and confident in who we are, is that being reserved? Is that kukhuluma namule? Is that being reserved, dialing down a part of the culture that we need to protect and also expressing in that way? Is it culture? Is it personality? What is it? How are we supposed to be expressing? Because as we were talking on the content being digestible, if a Swati push back so much, does it mean the content is not digestible? Or does it mean we have to do it more to a point where they are comfortable, they can take it, and they take it as a part of creativity, and they're able to accept diversity?
I think we need to push it more. No, meaning no, like based on what she said, I definitely think that we need to push it more, because even in South Africa, some things with them, I feel like there's so many things that they've included. For example, now we have fashion stores like Boma Closa. People would have been conservative. Why are you mixing Xhosa culture or Xhosa way with all these fashionable clothes? But at the same time, the way that they've done it, they've been able to find a way to go to, okay, I'm spreading culture, but the way that I'm telling the story, I'm making it my own. So I think we have to find a way to remain rooted in culture, yes, but of course always be innovative in a way that doesn't really disrespect the culture, but at the same time puts it out there and educates people. I don't know.
I think it's incorporating culture into what we do, but without losing the cultural aspect of it.
Yes.
There's so many things we do in this country that like sometimes take out culture from culture, I think. And I think innovation is there. We want to do things differently. We want to still incorporate the culture into what we are doing differently, but we need to find a balance, and we need to find a way to ensure that we're not taking out the culture from it. When we're trying to be innovative. And I think also as creatives in the country, we can incorporate culture. I don't know, like it's like a form of collaboration where I know there's an artist that makes this type of music, and I think that their song would go so well with one of my reels. Let me use that song. I know there's the thing of, but it's not a trending sound, but you could make it trend. You could create a reel or a TikTok gudlala ingoma ya sans tiki tik. Ibuye futhi nje iphume ngathi ayizange seyiphume before, but you're also taking a chance on a creative by incorporating them in your own creativity, which is something I recently learned. It's something I'm trying to do. I don't listen to like Swazi artists in the country. I'm going to be honest.
I'm hurt.
But I recently learned that if we are going man, I'm getting there. But I recently learned, Guti, it's important that Nami as a creative, I support other creatives. And supporting other creatives is adding their songs to my reels. Like if I feel like this song is good, let me add it to my reel. It's wearing each other's merchandise. True, right?
Just like we are right now, in case people didn't see.
You didn't know.
She's wearing Kole, I'm wearing Love Under No Demand. There's a Mari at the back. You can't see, but hey, supporting each other.
And we didn't plan it, by the way. It's just Swazis supporting Swazis. And it's as little as that, honestly. It's as little as that. It's as little as when it comes to collaboration. I get into a space ngive bakhuluma ngenfo lengatiko ukuthi maybe izbanibana ngayenda. It's I know this creative and maybe they're good with skincare. Asozame na atok promotela le business yakho yabo. And this I think opens the can of worms, brand collaborations, like Swazi brands using content creators or influencers in their space.
I know Sponelo wanted to interject, but I want to just say something a little bit. I'm really happy that you have started finding ways to incorporate local music within your content. I think I saw two videos actually where you were using, the first one you were using Amari's cover of Leon Thomas's Mats.
I loved it.
That one was beautiful.
It was perfect.
And then the second one you were using Sharon by Sanilo.
Yes.
So kudos to you for that. We really do need to support each other more. Yes. Back to...
Oh, well, I just wanted to ask, why do you think it's hard? You mentioned consuming local music. I love Boloja. I did listen to Boloja. I did listen to Sense as well.
Yes.
But generally, it's just hard to consume local in terms of anything. What do you think makes it hard? For the longest of time, I would blame Guti my area. Sakula Sbugala TV in channel L. DSTV. I-radio ke letting ngota nyala ngathi ngoba safak nema earphones radio. So I feel the guilt that you're feeling for not consuming local, and one of the fastest ways to grow an economy is if we consume local, right? I'm happy with what Peculiar people did over the past weekends. We're all happy. We're all happy. But yeah, what can we do to continue to support local and Swati ongela ma artists swalalele?
I think Milliswa can help us with that one because nami ngihlale ngibuta ukuthi really kufa kuphi. I don't know artists in the country, but again, what's his name? Is his name Grizzly?
Yes, Grizzly.
Yes, I recently listened to some of his music, and it's like, guys,
how did you find out about it?
Because he put it in our faces.
Okay.
It was in my face all the time. It's like when Original was dropping her music, it was in my face the whole time. There's no way.
As her marketer, I'm here celebrating when you're saying that. Like, okay, I did my job.
There was no way I would have not listened to her music because it was in my face. And that's the marketing aspect of it. Like, if you market it well, I think it lacks la para marketing.
Yeah.
And producing quality. Because I think another thing, sorry, you guys want to force us to listen to your music.
Actually right. Some artists do give off entitled vibes.
Yeah, some people want to force us.
What I wanted to say was, what has happened for a very long time is we're not getting quality music. So now when you hear Uta Swazi dropped already in your head, so now for sure it's not even that good.
That, oh my God,
things have
so
changed.
Bad.
Grizzly, as you say,
Grizzly,
Sanilo,
Amari, Original,
Young Zesh.
Yeah, but those people produce quality music, and I think if we could just also listen to that music, we would then change in mindset. Because it is cool. I mean, it's cool. Si lalela bo. Ngifuna lo balaza. You know, and those were hot and happening at the time, but there are also other artists that we don't know about. Album, but I don't know them because maybe I can't digest their music. But right now, I feel like that industry is growing in the country.
But also, I think we also need to challenge ourselves because we'll probably do another episode and we'll name the same people. And Nana Natsi, we don't, as consumers, we do not give ourselves time to go in and look at.
I do though.
Recently,
I'm probably the only one that does.
I found some kids at TikTok. Actually, TikTok is like one of the best places to find their local Bendi house. I don't even listen to house that much, but because of the way they are pushing their music, and I went and but I know a number.
And you see, also being able to do that as well, because Nami, as like a content creator, I do spend a lot of my time looking at stuff on TikTok or Instagram. And I've noticed, Kuti, on Instagram, there are people, on TikTok, there are people that create vlogs. But there's this guy from the university, UNESA.
Isn't it Mstatianiba?
Angikumbuli gama lakhe, but Day in the Life Eswatini is literally what he does. Uyazkhomba ayothenga sinkwa abuya todla ama slap chips akhe, and that's content. You don't need to take content like Mag and Bean or wait for bushfire to take content every day. I think I used to consume a lot of Grace Mondlana's content, and for me, I don't know her personally, but I used to see her a lot because I went to UP. And I used to see her a lot. And then someone and I'm like, yo, that girl, she's not afraid. And she shows us literally everything. But now she makes a lot of money from just living her life. So start somewhere. You need to start somewhere. People always say, but when did you start creating content? I started creating content before content was a thing. Before about TikTok, there was Musical.ly, guys. I was never on Vines, but I was on Musical.ly. And that's how some people that really do know me know that I used to make videos there. So it's not a thing of, oh, she just recently jumped onto this content thing. No, I've been making videos. They've been cringe. If you go, I don't even know if I have them. I don't think I have them. They're probably archived, but they've been cringe. But now I create better content. It's just start somewhere. It will get better.
And I think that also goes back to our local artists, because even Amari, they didn't start there. I'm pretty sure at some point when they first hit record, it was probably cringy, like you're saying. But now, because they've put in the practice, they've put in the work, the content is also like, it's good. And I also wanted to just find out what you think about Poppy. Poppy is one of my favorites in terms of content.
Oh, she's brave.
Ooh.
She is brave.
I don't know if you guys know Poppy. No, she's South African.
The Poppy Show.
Yeah, the Poppy Show.
She goes around the continent visiting different countries, but instead of doing it in a luxurious way, she literally goes to the Pundus.
Yeah.
And lives with the locals and, you know.
She also...
Who asked for...
Yes, that's the one.
She asked for like a place to stay.
And the time she spent a day as a taxi driver, and she was literally hanging out with the taxi drivers, and relating with them.
Now that you're talking about taxi drivers, there's this show, Swati TV.
I know it.
What is it called again? Where you spend the day as something.
Yeah, I forgot the name.
So Namsa, they have me on their episode. I'm a taxi driver.
I know the name because I saw an episode where Original was like a construction worker. Oh my god. Yeah, she was a construction worker.
I forgot
the name of the
King
show
as well. I saw that.
Yeah.
I like that show, and I think that there's a lot that Eswatini TV can do with that show to make it better. It's a cool concept, but it needs us to watch it because I've also
never watched it. I just know nje because and why is that so? Why are we not watching Swazi TV? This is an open question, by the way.
It is.
It's in a
It is.
Excuse
That's
after
why
excuse.
And sometimes the show that I'm talking about. And I know that on Swazi TV Shem they have different shows.
This weekend is Swati.
Yes, this week. Yeah, there's a lot that you can get from Swazi TV. Why don't I watch Swazi TV?
Have I promoted Instagram?
I think for me it's an infrastructure thing. Like just like Claudia's saying, I have Netflix, I have Showmax. I don't subscribe to DSTV anymore. How then am I supposed to watch?
But they have their own streaming site app.
Swazi TV has a streaming app.
Yeah. They've had it for I think since
I think
2010 or
they've had it for
2021.
some time,
Really?
Yeah.
I
They've
think
had
I
it
need
for a
to
while.
tap in and stop making excuses.
And
You see.
about 21 rand in. Like when they were telling me, I've never used it, but
But maybe they were not in our face about it, because when else have you seen them speak about it? We are sure 2021. By now, it should be at a phase where people have now sort of like gotten into
So
it.
where are we going wrong?
It's the
Where
content.
are we going wrong?
The content and the marketing. I don't think they're loud about the app that much as Showmax. I'm not saying they should like go all the way out because hey, budgets and everything. But I don't think they're that loud.
Then what do we do differently?
What would you say is the company that's like setting the pace for other companies in terms of content creation and promoting itself at the moment?
I mean, Hashem, I'll be very... Should I mention a company name? But then the thing is, even if I mention them, MTN for me. But I don't like mentioning them because I feel like with them, they have the backing. They're a multinational company. So it's easy for them to understand concepts like marketing, concepts like being out there, and content creation. So for me, they're the ones that come to my head. And most of the companies that come to my head are multinationals, because even now I'm thinking F&B, I'm thinking Swazi Bank. I'm thinking Standard Bank. So we need to see which local companies are like
Luna.
Ooh.
Oh yeah. Luna. Yeah. Luna, definitely.
I love Luna's content, and it's not just because I am a brand ambassador, Yaga Luna. I think that they understand the market, they understand their target market.
True.
And they put out quality content. So I love that for them. I love that it's always branded. Like if you see Luna somewhere, it will always say made in Eswatini. You'll never see it going alone. Yabo. I think that there's a lot that companies in the country must still do in terms of their marketing. But I do appreciate the fact that companies in Eswatini are also trying to they are opening up to digital marketing, and they're also opening up to the idea of using content creators and influencers. Right now it's not a thing of which I like the company or whatever, but I think that MTN Bushfire, to be specific, I think their marketing is great. I think that they work ahead and the Gabonagala, especially with the fact that Namsla Iapela Bushfire Namush. But tomorrow I already know the date for next year.
Yeah.
And another thing I think a lot of events don't do in the country
I think they should tap into.
That I think they should start tapping into is understanding that your marketing doesn't start on the day of the event.
Yeah.
Your marketing starts months before the event.
Not even 3 months. Even 3 months is short.
Months before the event. Which is why it's important. And this is like free advice to any company that has an event coming up. Invest in your content. Invest in taking pictures or videos of people's experience, because that very same content is the content that you're going to use to get more people to come the following year. What is it called? An after movie?
Yeah.
Is that what they... You need
movie.
content for that. You need content before, you need content during, and
don't just post a poster and then unyamalale.
And you can't do that alone. We're here.
But you can't
do that alone.
But she's actually right, because most people are able to engage with something once they've seen it in the eyes of someone else, not the company itself. So even with content and encouraging people to do stuff, people engage with it once they've seen how she had fun, kanje. I want to do that for myself. But if you go out there and you're out there like a random advert that you'd see on TV, people are just gonna be like, it's just another ad.
And also we want to reach Swazis ngale content lesiyakho. So let's say, for example, a company decides to make an ad. Why would you use like an international person for the ad? Because if you use Wekuntry, for example, so many people know him. So many people will want to buy the product, not because it's made by you, but because Wekuntry is using your product, and this is why content creators are important. It's important that now as brands and content creators, we sit in the same room and discuss how we can work together. And it's amazing that Nyalo, we can have conversations like the ones that are like, we can be in spaces like the Link Up. the different spaces that are coming up where content creators are having these conversations. That's amazing because kungendile sikufundako from each other.
Yeah.
But now it's time for content creators to sit in the same rooms as brands, so we understand Guti, what do you want from us and what is it that we want from you guys, and how can we then work together?
Can I ask Luleka?
Yeah.
I'm just curious, to be a content creator, what qualities do you need to have? You've worked with Luna, you've I think you've collaborated ngabona naku particular people after the event you were posting. So I'm just curious, Kuti, what qualities do you need to have? Do you need an iPhone? Do you need a notebook? Nabafika kuwe nje bacela wena uthini, what's being talked about in those meetings? And I'm just curious about if you've had an experience with this yet. Inzaba red card, how do you come about having a red card?
Yeah.
How do you come with that math?
Okay. Yo, we're getting to like juicy parts of this. You don't need to have an iPhone to be a content creator. You just need to create content that we will like to consume. But at the same time, I'm not saying go to Hamburg shooting at 3310 because we still want clear content. Because again, you're producing the best content out there, but the quality of it makes me skip your video. You understand? I think as a content creator, you have to have a plan. You have to be creative. You have to have the personality because you're working with people. Angeke ufune kusebenta nathi and then you're not nice to us. You're not gonna get anywhere with that. Sibantu, I said this earlier when we were having a conversation. We are people. We are not content. We are people first before we are content creators. So I should be able Guti nangena in a room ngibe nebuntu ngafuni kungena in a room ngifune kuvuselwa abantu. I found you here sanibonani. Hayi ukuthi sitavusela wena pho usikhanzela ngeke bese thina sivusela wena yabo. It's something as little as that.
Also being authentic, I think, is really important as a content creator. Understanding ukuthi wena ungubani first and foremost, and then telling your own story to the people.
Telling your own story, because it also makes you relatable.
Exactly.
We can engage with you because
we don't want to
understand.
see 10 Grace Mondlanas. We already have a Grace Mondlana. We don't need Lomunye West 10. Like,
yeah, but we can't all want to be Grace.
Yeah.
I get that a lot. And then also another thing is like, as you're building your career in content creation, and there are brands wanting to approach you, iba khona ke lento yabo rate card. Yabo, if brand we want to work with you for this and that, what's your rate card? Your rate card incorporates who are you, what is it that you do. You tell us, okay, this is my following, these are the views that I get, this is the engagement, yabo, and then I charge this much. Nangabe when I charge 20 rand for a vlog, then you charge 20 rand for a vlog. I think the sad thing about MI rate cards is that as creatives, we tend to undervalue ourselves.
That's true.
And then sibe neguthi yonda suke ngithi mine vlog yami nje nangendile 5,000.
And then
no one wants
me.
to work with me.
Yeah.
But that's the value I am bringing to the table. I think a lot of brands think Gucci content creators shoot and just have the sekai. We don't do that. Me, I have this book. Before I shoot, I'm writing, okay, this is the shot I want. This is what I want to communicate in the video. This is my target market. You understand? Before I get to picking up the camera. And even as I pick up the camera, I need to travel to the destination. I need to eat mangfiga at the destination. And after that, I need to go back home. That's my time where I am editing. I am editing in a manner that you are going to be able to digest my content. That's a lot of creativity. As a content creator, I'm not just a content creator. I'm the planner. I am the videographer. I am the editor. So
the voiceover artist.
I'm the voiceover artist sometimes. So that's how much value I'm bringing to the table. So you can't then expect to give me 1,000. You can't. You can't, because now I'm working. No, exposure. I need to that means I'm exposed enough because you found me.
Yeah.
You know, I'm exposed enough. You found me. So I think that it's also important ukuthi yabonina asesihlalen phasi sikhulume ukuthi sibhadaleka kanjani, because it's not everyone that's creating content as a form of expression. Some people are creating content to put bread on the table. Guys, in South Africa, people are resigning to become full-time content creators because that's how much their government and how much brands are investing into content creators. And I think that it's important, Guti, it's high time that Nati as a country, people take us seriously, guys, because this can be a career and we really need to be given the platform. Like, please take a chance on us, because there's so many creatives out there. There's so many people that are hungry for this industry. It's banengi, man. And we just need someone to say, hey, what does togudla la taflen? You know? I also think no,
but what do you think needs to be done for us to get to the point where, as young creatives and as content creators, are taken seriously? What needs to be done? Because like you're saying, we've put in the work, we've shown our value. What more do we need to actually do? Serious.
Take yourself seriously first. And taking yourself seriously means putting a price on your work and standing on it. Put your price on your work and stand on it. Okay. Also, like I've mentioned, we need a space where content creators and marketing managers and all these brands can sit and say, okay, because I need success. So we
all need to understand.
So we all need to understand each other and what it is that we are doing. And then also another thing is marketing managers. Sanbonan. Please take a chance on us. Give creatives an opportunity to work. If we would just work together. Put us in that room where you are planning an event and see how we can help you curate it better to be more appealing to the creatives or your audience, because we understand your audience, we know your audience, we're part of your audience. And the great thing about being a content creator is that I can work with a brand and be able to stand up for the consumer, because I am also a consumer of your brand. I've consumed whatever it is that you're selling to me. So I know where you can do better. I know your strengths and I have ideas of how you can do better. Most importantly, please take a chance on us. You know, take a chance on us. Take a chance on me.
Look at you shooting your shot.
Take a chance on me. Sbanengi, and give me nege if you take a chance on me. Best believe I'm gonna bring more people to the table. I don't believe in eating alone.
So who are some of your favorite content creators in the country? Because you're just saying that you believe in putting other people on. Maybe you can put us on here. Who do you love in Eswatini?
Now I forget someone and it's a
problem. I don't understand that. But I'm just curious to know, within the eyes of Luleka, who is actually a very, very meticulous and a good content creator in Eswatini?
I think Zinzi is a great content creator. I feel like she has a vision. She has a vision and she's working towards that vision. And I wish that many more brands in the country would give her a space to to mentor other content creators in the country.
Yes.
I think she's umage with my content creators.
She's
she's our mother, and we're learning from
brilliant.
her. And I think that she is also eyeing people in the industry where it's like, yo, I think you're doing great, and I think you can go somewhere. There's also Call Me Mrs Dlamini. I love her content. I love how authentic she is. And I'm not being biased just because I know these people. I love her content. I love how authentic she is. She gives a different feel. It's not about, oh, buy this and buy that. But she's also a mom, and she's shares that content. She shared the content about her weight loss journey.
Yes, I was just about to say that
authenticity.
as well.
There are people that can relate to her based off of that. I think that there are also podcasts like Claudia.
Yeah, shout out to
I
Claudia.
think she's sorry. She's here. Please help me.
Shout out to Claudia.
Thank you. Appreciate you, fam.
Is it okay? There's also Claudia, and like the type of conversations that she has with people on her podcast. I read Namtleksen Beng Lale Lale podcast that you did
it was so
with
interesting.
Manto, right? The one on AI. I thought that was an very interesting conversation, because AI is what we're all trying to talk about in this country. It's something that we're all trying to educate people about. And I loved how she spoke about the importance of not just educating teen, let's say understandable, but also educating the people that don't know what AI is. Teen silanas kamanzini babane, we know what that is, but there are people out there that don't know what that is, and it's important that if we're talking about digital transformation, we also teach the people so that we can go somewhere together and not just as a selective. Also, apart from content creators, I love people that can interact with people on the socials and put people on. There's Muetive.
I don't think I know them.
Yo, guys, that lady's always rooting for everyone. She's always speaking so highly of other people, and I think I love that because sometimes labanye abantu fasibathi ngoba asikhulumi ngabo yabo. I think for Wekuntry, I think he makes great content, and he makes a lot of more content on TikTok, and he's relatable to the people on TikTok.
He's genuinely a nice person. Like,
very
let's not forget
nice
that
person.
He literally has over 100,000 followers on TikTok. But when you meet him in the streets, when you find him in a room,
Ngathi I love that about him. I love people that can stay true to who they are and can create content that shows us ukuthi babobani, and nases babona in public abashinji yabo. You guys, I'm always saying I'm looking.
Do you
at
think a lot
creators.
of guys are moving with the times when it comes to content creation, or it's mostly females?
It's mostly females. I need guys to jump onto that
But then maybe like they're not jumping towards it because society is always like, hey, mina ngifuni boyfriend, they content creator, and we are shooter, and I've seen a lot of people saying that on social media. Correct me if I'm wrong. I've seen people saying that like content. Like you wake up in the morning.
How you create? We don't all make vlogs. We don't all do that, yabo. I think bantu banalo ukuthi ngiyalo sengidashuta ngivula umnyango. Naku sengidashuta sengiyanatha, there are different ways people can create content, and I think that if you can just find a way that works for you, then do just that.
There's this guy, I forgot his name, right? But I found him on Instagram, Swati.
Yeah.
His content is more based on, because he sells cows, if I'm not mistaken.
Swati. Yeah,
Swati is also one of my favorite
you
content
create
creators,
like your
by
own
the way.
niche. Kufana you know Bandile.
Yes, Bandile.
Right, Bandile cooks. Uyapheka.
Yeah.
There are people that do that. Even
Mrs.
Martin
M
Knott
as
used
well.
to do that as well. Even Mrs. M, guys. Mrs. M,
Yo, Mrs. M is
le
the
cheesecake,
best.
like makanu.
And the kukuza bread. The kukuza bread as
you
well.
know? So there's so many different niches that you can jump on in the country, and I see a lot of people doing that. Gonna, you know, Msutu, like the way that he just literally created his own niche.
He's really good.
He's not
He's
competing
really
with anyone.
good.
He found a gap
He's
in the
really
market and he
good.
said, I'm jumping onto this.
And just speaking about Mrs. M, I just wanted to also go back to the conversation we had about culture. I really love how she's including cultural ingredients in her food, like the maganu fruit, like you said, as well as kukuza. I think that's something that we also need, like the chefs in the country, to be more creative, you know, and also have like a local Swazi cuisine. We need to get to a point where hi, there's a place I can go to have like a local Swazi cuisine just curated.
There is. Should I
mention? Put us on.
Guys, love her. Gables. Before Uwele Lomfula, there's this place. Before Uwele Lomfula, uyofika ga water. On your left, there's a car wash lapha. Bathengisa kudla lokumnanzi lapha, and Swati like Umhlanga.
I need to go
is
there.
so good. Inyama yangekhathi, and
We need more of those.
and it's very affordable. Yabona, it's very affordable. But ingagcwali kakhulu phela, guys.
No, siyasupporta. We need more of that, actually.
You know, there are a lot of creators, man. There are a lot of creators, and I think it not only shouting out creators, but guys, even y'all that engage, it means a lot to us. Appreciate every time you share, you tell your friends about us. Siyabonga, man, guys.
I normally say, you know, people get shy to create content and they just consume. But I normally say, hey, choose one thing. If you don't create the content, comment.
Yes.
Be a commenter.
Share,
you know,
save the
do
post.
something.
Even if you're not sharing it on your
even
story.
if it's not something that's within your own space, like even if I'm not a podcaster myself, or I'm not in the music industry myself, I'm not into content creation, I should be able to share what everyone else is doing.
Bro, there's even this guy, he's an American though. Super Ray. His name is Super Ray. He'll literally get any funny video. He'd let the video play. When it's done, he's gonna comment, but he doesn't show his face. You see what I mean?
Yeah, I see a lot of people do that actually, and they get views from just commenting on
his views
what
are
they
insane.
think.
Actually, speaking of content creators, are there any music content creators that you know in the country? Like people that just, besides me, of course, people that are just out there like promoting music wala Swatini, whether it's on YouTube, it's on Instagram. No, this is an open question, by the way. Whether it's on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, wherever.
A young exposer.
No, I want to put you on, Pela. So I'm going to put you on, okay?
Kune 268 gems. Yeah.
268 jam. Yeah. Wait, no.
Not the restaurant. Like
Not the
it's a page on
restaurant.
Instagram.
I'm pretty sure I've come across all
Yeah,
the
because
I
that
have a
page-
problem of consuming stuff
I'm
and then not
judging you.
remembering
I'm judging
people.
you.
No.
Yeah, but and
No.
also you touched on music. If you know me, you know I'm not like a huge music person.
Okay.
I don't listen to music that much. It's only now where I am training my ear to like listen to more music.
No, the reason I'm asking is because I've seen a gap within that space. I feel like, you know, in South Africa and America, you have people who just sit down and react to Tingoma Deba. And there's a person sitting down, oh my gosh, but there's a person sitting down over there reacting to a Blackie song or whosoever. So maybe in terms of like what you were asking, Claudia, about what artists need to do, maybe we need to also have content creators within that space who are going to sit down, react to a local song, and then maybe Claudia will want to listen because Ubone Banbani was reacting to that song, you know. True. So I feel like even though Bakona Bamfu like me who writes and are always loud on social media, I would say, yay, listen to Banbani, do this. We also need people like in the background, other people who are just going to be creating visual content. Lo kunmela music wala kaya. You're reacting to a Sand song, you're reacting You know Nana Makakula, right?
I've heard the name
Yeah,
before.
well, she won 2 summers in 2000 in Banban, the
we
only
don't
Swazi
know
to ever
that,
do
and
that,
we don't
Miss
know
Nana
that.
Makakula. So we need people who are going to be creating that sort of visual content as well. Not that ibe yinze like a podcast, even if it's just short. Sithi uyascroll like a TikTok, ubona umuntu uyakhuluma. We need that.
And that's great advice, because I think as people want to continue jumping onto content creation, look at the market. Look at the gap and then try to fill that gap. Ungafuni wena kufana na Wekuntry. You know, it's like Mrs Skeel. Right. Yes. She does the headband wigs. And she's so good. Please create more content. I am subbing you.
I also
and
love
she's
her.
so good. And I think that but she's found her niche. She's found where she fits and she's running with that. So find what it is that you're interested and run with it. I'm pretty sure Msuthu makaqala kusikhombisa ngetinkomo. Nyalo, he speaks
people have
and we
embraced
listen.
that.
Are embracing. We've got Senza that's also jumping onto like feedlots and all of that. Like now it's like he's inspired people to, you know. So
I think I also know one other guy in the music space. He's on YouTube. I think his name is Wakile. I'm not mistaken. There's a guy on YouTube. He's Wakile. He reacts to a lot of Swazi music. He also like drops some videos about top 5 what in Eswatini. So that's someone you should also check out on YouTube. Yeah.
Mina ngicela ukuthi as my content creators, the content creation life infakele ama pressures lanjani, i-affecte kanjani. So date nema friends noma na baby lapha. So uyashoota naye so photographer. What are the drawbacks?
I don't know. Luleka.
Noma
Maybe you
unshoot
should
man
start.
hamba nabo, babe.
Maybe you should start. Luleka.
my friends know what?
Baby.
How has been the response there? Because one of the things that I normally notice, I don't know, seems especially our local guys, because we're still growing this industry, they're a bit uncomfortable also with having a girlfriend who's out there.
That's actually
content.
so true. That's
like,
so true.
Just a sort of some stigma.
Yeah, there's a resistance that they have. Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys, I wouldn't know. I don't really like pay attention to that much. But I do know that a lot of people don't like being on like videos about Funi Gubonagala on the internet and all that. And I think as my friends know, Gendega Guti will go out and my phone, I won't take content. And I'm like, why are you not taking content? I want to respect the space that I'm in. I want to actually be fully immersed in what I am doing. I want to be present. So Gendega nga shooting content or Kanza Guti, I'm shooting content at the end of the day. And I think that's how I try to make sure that the people around me are comfortable, even though they feel like, no, you should be shooting content. But sometimes I want to be a person. I want to experience what everyone else is experiencing. And I think also for me, I'm a visual storyteller. And if I'm looking at something and there's no story to tell, I'm not telling a story. I like to get to places and check first, because I was thinking Pala the other day about visual storytelling, and we can look at the same thing and not tell the same story.
Yeah.
We can go to an event and all experience a performance, but we're not going to shoot the same thing. And again, that's what sets you apart as a content creator, because singabang 3 sihambe siye ku bushfire, kube nalo shooter ema artists, kube nalo shooter ukuthi bantu bagcokeni, kube nalo shooter tshwala, kube nalo shooter abantu batsakiwe, kube nalo shooter kudla. You understand? We're not the same. That's why I don't believe that you can get you can get in a room of content creators and put them in the same space and get the same output, because we all have different eyes and it's our eyes that set us apart.
But doesn't it shock you when you're walking in a room and people just greet you, hi Luleka, and you literally don't know them? Because I think that's what Claudia was asking more than anything, that what are some of the pressures? I'll literally be walking around Matapa lifestyle and someone says hi or someone just wants a picture. How have you embraced that?
I don't get a lot of those, but when I do get them, I get very shocked.
Yeah,
you
same
know?
here.
And it's not a shock of, why are you speaking to me? It's a thing of, you know me?
Same
Like
here.
my content is reaching you. Khona lo wake wathi kimi, yo, yafana namhla ngivundliswe ngowe.
Uyabo.
I'm like, you saw my video and you're acknowledging me in public. It's scary because meaning ngiyabesaba abantu sometimes. Yabo, it takes time for me to get comfortable in certain spaces, but I appreciate it a lot when someone comes up to me, because again, I'll be having the worst day and I meet someone and they say, oh my gosh, Luleka, I love your content. Ukanza gutu, on that day I was not feeling my content. I was not feeling like I'm doing enough. And that's what happens with content creators. Sometimes we create content and we're not even sure if you guys like it. We're not even sure if you guys like what we're putting out there. So umuntu nagafika ati gimi yati, I love what you're doing. It means a lot. It doesn't give me a big head, but it makes me want to keep creating.
I think it's really weird for me that you say that you don't get a lot of people coming up to you, because for me, it was weird. The first time I met Luleka, she knew who I was. And you can even ask her, I was like, oh my gosh, you know me? Like, girl, how?
Because
I was so shocked, you know? So I also get the same shock when I see people and they're like, hi, Milliswa. I'm like, okay, you know me. And sometimes it's so weird because but you literally don't know who they are.
How do you
Me at the salon.
It's so weird.
And this lady comes, young Kela, yabo. She says to me, yeah, Luleka M. I'm like, where do you know me from?
I remember this one time I was at Pop Sunday, Dragon's Den, and this lady walked up to me. Hi, Milliswa. Oh my gosh, I love what you're doing. I'm embrace. And then when I got home, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't know who that was. Like, this was so weird. But then ngabe sengiyakumbula, and I really do appreciate it also when people walk up to me and they're like, oh, we love what you're doing. Sometimes it's the validation also, because sometimes you're like, maybe I'm not doing enough, but to know that people actually see you and what you're doing, I think it's a really beautiful thing.
It's even like bigger when people in the same space say that to you. Like they like, we see what you're doing, keep on going. We must like be able to encourage each other as well.
And funny enough, that's how my relationship with Original started. She literally DM'd me and said, we see you, we see what you're doing and whatever, and then now we like work together. It was so weird. I remember running around the house the whole day. It's yay, Maggie, yay, this happened.
Guess who called me?
That's just how it is, and it just goes back to what you were saying about putting each other on more than anything. We need to put each other on, even if we're not within the same spaces. We need to keep on doing that.
Don't you find pressure in terms of content creation being like your main source of income?
Okay, that's a Luleka question.
Like everyone, like we are all different
source.
creators here in this room.
Yeah.
And well, I would say we're all in the entertainment and content space. And we all know, we would say it's not gonna be fruitful like that. But do you guys like sometimes get that pressure, I would say, that you have been doing this thing and
it's not working the way I wanted to?
Yeah, I do a lot, especially because I don't have I am unemployed. I think that I do, especially because I feel like I put in the work and we're all just waiting for our big break.
Yeah. Because
it really takes that one company saying, hey, we see what you're doing. I said this earlier, they're not creating content for the fun of it. It's something that they want to help. We need to feed our families. So I think it's a lot of pressure because we are creator, but the money isn't coming in. Also, the truth is that content creation kuyimali kwakona lokuthi ngisuke lapha ekhaya ngihambe ngiyoshootha kuphi kuphi
even the
buy
tools that you
ticket.
use for your content as well,
Right, I
that's
need to pay for
money.
CapCut, guys.
Yeah.
I
Well,
pay for
you need to
CapCut,
have a
so there are
tripod
no
stand. You need
watermarks.
to have all of these things.
Yeah, well, that's money in itself, and it would be nice to then get value for what I'm putting back out there because I am investing in myself. But at the same time, I think what I would say to creators right now that I've been told by other creatives and people close to me is that this time is not for granted. It's not for nothing, because now I've been in spaces where I've been part of a panel. I've been in rooms where there are content creators. It's cut some less, so that is not wasted, but I am learning something from other people as
You're also
well.
connecting with other people and
Yes,
networking
I
with
am
other
networking and I'm investing in myself and my intellect. So by the time a brand approaches me, one, I know the issues that now people have. You know, this is crazy. I didn't want to speak about this because I didn't know how it was going to be perceived. But at some point, I didn't know data was expensive because I'm always connected to Wi-Fi. But that's not the reality for everyone, Lagangwan. And that is why with the conversation that we were having earlier, where we said, Guti banfla baneng Lagangwan baga Facebook. And thina sikho ka Facebook ngoba simjwayele asmati ukuthi usebenza kanjani, we're not used to it. But if you want Swazis, tap into Facebook.
Yeah, you'll find them
And
there.
the reason why they're on Facebook and not on Instagram, bakhona ka TikTok now, they're growing there, and not on Instagram is because it's expensive. Not everyone has the data for that. So now the infrastructure that then allows us to use all these digital platforms, it also needs to be improved. Yabo.
Oh, he was asking about the pressure. I think I also do feel the pressure, but I think my pressure is very different from Luleka because my pressure comes from Guti. Okay, I know naturally I'm a creative. I want to be within the space. But because I have to sustain the life that I want, I have to have a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
So for me, that's where the pressure comes from. I'm like, okay, I know this is not where I belong. I know where I belong. But because lang belonga khona, angkhoni ukuthola imali khona kwanyalo, I have to fight my way through a 9 to 5, even when I know that's not a part of the plan. So for me, that's where the pressure comes from, if I'm being honest. That's where the pressure comes from.
Manje khaya bathini?
Ekhaya bathini ngani?
Ngekela lo TikTok hambe 7.
Yeah. Oh,
But with me, my
also-
mom's very supportive.
Yeah.
I think it's because she's within the media space herself. My mom has been a very supportive person. So lang semncane, she'd bring around Bosakhile Nkambule to the house. Onke my hypnotic. All the hypnotics that were ever held in the country, I've attended from a young age of 13. And I think that's how I got to fall in love with hip hop and hip hop events as well, just from that exposure. And I know this is off topic, but just the other day, my mom literally told me that she saw Sakile in town, and Sakile was telling her, I'm actually so proud of your daughter. So for me, even getting that validation from people who saw me from a young age, and I'm doing all of this is crazy. I can't relate. My mom has been a very, very supportive mom.
I like how you're speaking about is support from family at the beginning of like me creating content, because I feel like I started creating more content when I came back home from university. At the beginning, it was really tough. I felt like people around me didn't understand. That's all. Yeah, babati so busy in content. Whoa. Hi.
Imagine.
Oh, I once got a comment that from someone saying, eluleka usebenza ngani noma uchaza ngilokuphethe kushootha nje wena ngale cingo lakho, and that broke my heart. But I prayed about it. I really believe that as creatives we are really blessed because we are created by God, the Creator Himself. And if we're created in the image of God, that means I am created to create. So if I'm in a creative space, that's so much in me. God created the world. He created us. So what makes me think I cannot create such huge and powerful things, you know? So I started to pray about it a lot. And in praying about it, my mom started becoming supportive because ekuqaleni bekanga understand. Wena wakhenkethanga ubizngani. You know, that's what they always say. Ubizngani Luleka, you know. And when my mom started to get it, because I call my mom an iPad baby because she's always like on her phone on YouTube looking up something. And she watched a video where a parent was explaining, I forgot, she was a gospel artist. She passed away, unfortunately. She was explaining how she got into the entertainment industry and how people around her didn't understand what it was she was doing. Her parents, but then it opened my mom's eyes to saying, oh, this is what my daughter is doing. And what I can do best for her is to just support her vision. I don't understand what she's doing, but I'm going to be supportive of her. And that changed a lot for me. And from there, it was my family being supportive. Ekhaya, if isihlangene uva kancane nje sekuthiwa uphi content creator kodwa sekuready, you know. And at first bengivangathi, yo, these people don't get it, but now they get it. They see the vision, and support is so important. I'm very grateful that everyone in my family supports me. Yeah, but I'm not where I want to be right now. But ekhaya shemngabe ngibacambele mangana ngathi they don't support me.
Same here.
Okay, lastly, a follow-up question to Lele. Okay, I asked that question because how can we now, because we have a Luleka, a Milliswa, a Claudia, a OG King, and we do not want a case like earlier you mentioned Emma's IQ.
Yeah.
He was very good at that time, but now we don't even know where he is.
Yeah.
So how can we, as consumers or as fellow creatives, hold each other, sizame kubambisana, or come up with a certain forum whereby we are able to, okay, earlier OG King said something like Claudia said something about let's have like a basic minimum wage in the creative space for the certain, but now singenda kanjani to help save Luleka uthi angafike to a point whereby sevangathi, hey, this thing is really not paying off, let me just let go of it.
I was actually thinking that in follow up to what you're saying, Kombe. Guti, I also watch Penwell, and I love how when he has his sit down sessions, he always asks people, so what should the people do? Who are you blaming? And that is what I was thinking about. Guti, maybe we need to probe the relevant stakeholders. Guti, it could even get to a point whereby Nakala at the beginning of the year, a conversation in my boardrooms, we will work with content creators, we will work with influencers, kube nema budget set aside. Because mawubuka ukuthi even bafuyi or small business owners, kuba even nema funding, kube nema workshops. So we need the same kind of platforms for content creators as well. Ukuthi nje na ungakhona kucela funding for your content creation kuphela. Akusasiyo ukuthi kushuta kudlala kuphela, clearly, you know. So ama opportunities la kanjalo nje uconnectate ka serious. So I'm a photographer or I create content, you need support in funding kanjena. Nato tingapane nje dijwayele ukuthi okay, i-marketing department iya collaborate nema content creators nema influencers sitobe Swati ngalangaka this year, you know, something like that. So I think it just really kind of needs to get to a point where governments, corporates get to a point where they collaborate with just individuals, as long as they have the talent, as long as they can get the job done, and also just empower them. Nangama workshops njengoba bo-Stratcom yalo bacalile, they empower people with marketing and AI. Content creators also need the same kinds of platforms as well. Just because good, you're already doing it. Let us empower you as well to be good.
True. let's also like be able to find people. Let's bona ukuthi ati wena there's something in you. Buya lana ndokufundzisa ya buya ndokuruma, because nalogu uphethe kusebenzisa one and the same person, it doesn't grow the industry. Like I think when we keep seeing the same face, nathi versus lona lenyena. So I think that it would be very important that sikwatik bambisana not just alone as a content creators, but na hulumende wethu. I love what ICT is doing. How ICT is really pushing AI, digital marketing. So I would love to see us get to a point where kunjenga se South Africa, where they have a budget for content creators, where even companies know, okay, we want to use content creators and this is a budget that is set aside for that, because they have budgets for entertainment. We fall under that. We could fall under that. So le mali ikona, we just need y'all to trust us. We need y'all to take the risk.
Okay, Luleka, any parting words before we go
Any
parting words that you want to share to other creatives, to the people that have supported you? Any last words?
I think I would like to first thank the people that do support me. I'd like to thank the people that speak life into me. I like to thank the people that mention me in rooms I have not walked into yet. And I want to encourage people to keep creating. 2025 is going to be big. Is big because of LSS 2025, and it's going to be big for like the entertainment industry, or rather Tine in the content creation space. And the time is now. It's not next year. It's not 2 months from now. Pick up the camera and shoot content. Put yourself out there. Ngoba for Exaba, putting yourself out there, it's not gonna work. You need to get over your fear of looking stupid, because it's your success that's on the other side of that mountain.
I think for me, my last parting words would be to just tell people that don't be afraid of being yourself. First of all, embrace who you are. Keep on creating. Be very present. Also, be very present and educate yourself more than anything, because sometimes we get into a space like but no, educate yourself, embrace change, be yourself. I think for me that's just what I'd like to say to everyone that is watching. And I also just want to say, keep on supporting us. Like, we are building legacies. We are building legacies, and we really, really do need support from the people from Onke Swati. So yeah.
Halala.
Thank you, Luleka, for joining me. This was such a very insightful conversation. I needed it. It also is validating. It's going somewhere.
It is going somewhere. It is. And thank you for having me. You know, so Luleka would be perfect for this episode. And I hope that people can listen to the episode and digest what it is that we're speaking about, and it would open conversations for bigger conversations, and that even like brand managers and companies can actually watch this episode and know who to speak to, who to approach, because we've dropped so many names here. And if we can work together, we can create something huge and compete on global markets.
Exactly.